What I'll be talking about with us today is how do we manage our mental health, in this season that we're in, and even the crises that are in this season. How do we see them? How do we turn the crisis into opportunities? Those are the things that we're going to be talking about. But I just want to share with us before we start, why this particular topic is so important to me. Well, actually, my family and I went through crisis. We went to a financial crisis, and that crisis actually opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I'm sure my husband also, that we had a choice. We can either be worried, we can either be frustrated, but we chose to use that opportunity of waiting period, I will call it. We chose to use that opportunity to fight back. We chose to use that opportunity to learn. We chose to use that opportunity to do self-development. And those things that we did is what I want to share with us today, because I know a lot of people are currently going through this crisis. And even with this crisis, there's going to be crisis in crisis, because once a crisis affects an economy, what tends to happen is it affects our business, our place of work. Before we know it, it affects our family, maybe through layoff and things like that. And then it affects our finances. So those are the things we're going to discuss. How do we see opportunity in the current crisis? Thank you. Now, just to give you a ball figure of what we're going to discuss, we're going to look at, okay, why does this topic even matter? We're going to look at that. Then we're going to say how we are all moving interdependent as a country, which is why this thing started in Wuhan, China. Everybody's now affected. So how are we interweaving? How are we all dependent on each other? We're going to look at those things. And after the aftermath of it, the aftermath of COVID-19, what is the aftermath? What should we be expecting to see? Because if we know what we're expecting to see and we prepare for it, you'll find that at the end of the day, when these things start unfolding, we are ready, because we are knowledgeable about what is happening, and then we are already ready, either based on the fact that we have planned things out on what we need to do to ensure that we just go through this crisis, just like a eagle goes through the storm, that we just go through this crisis, and at the end of the day, when the opportunities that comes after crisis is here, we are able to make best use of those opportunities. Now, the first thing is, we all know that the children staying at home, seems to be fun for them. And then for people that doesn't really have understanding of what is going on, this is their time to watch Netflix, to watch TV, to play, to overtalk on social media and things like that, to watch social media over and over again on the updates on COVID-19. But the truth of the matter is, what we are facing, when a country is faced with a crisis, that crisis can destroy a nation. It can cause recession. And if that recession is not well managed, it can turn into depression of an entire nation. That means that people in that nation has lost hope. And we are praying that that is not what will happen. But we also need to be knowledgeable enough. We need to be ready for what can happen. We need to be ready for the worst case scenario. We need to be prepared. And the information I'm going to share with us today will open our eyes to certain things that the media is not talking about. We're going to look at those things and see, okay, what exactly are we up against, so that we are prepared. Now, when we're talking about the mental health of the person, I also mentioned that we need to manage our mental health, because we're going to see a lot of things that maybe we are not used to, we are not ready for. But if our mind is not in the right place, it's going to affect us. We will not be able to make the right decisions that we are supposed to make for our family, for ourselves. According to the World Health Organization, it says that mental health can affect daily life. It can affect your relationship. It can even affect you physically, even spiritually. So we need to make sure that in the midst of this crisis, that we protect our mental health. We protect what goes into our mind, what we're thinking about, how we are processing the information that we're getting, so that it does not affect us, so that it does not affect our judgment or our decision making mechanism. This is why I have created this webinar, to help us to understand what exactly are we up against and how we can use it to manage our mental health, and then turn the current crisis that we have right now into opportunity, and then refocus us to actually start doing exactly what we set, those goals that we set for in 2020, those goals, so that we can refocus our mind on those things. Because if care is not taken, we have forgotten our goals and we are focused on what is going on concerning COVID-19. But we have goals. We all set goals during 2020. So that should be our focus. It should be one of our focus. And I'm going to help us to ensure that that is what we are focusing on as we go through this storm, this crisis that we find ourselves in. So we are living in a time right now that there are more questions than answers. I mean, everywhere you go, people are posting questions. When is this thing going to be over? What is this? Do we have a vaccine yet? You know, what is going on? What caused this problem? But the truth of the matter is, our leaders have no answer. They may be playing some blaming games. I don't want to go into those details, but they have no answer as to what is going on. And now, because of that, we as people who have entrusted ourselves to these leaders, a lot of people are fearful. They are fearful because the information that is coming, we are not sure which one is fake news, which one is real news. People are confused. They don't know what to believe. They don't know what not to believe. My advice to you is minimize what you are listening to on social media. Minimize what you are hearing, what you are listening to, what you are reading. You know, if you really want information concerning COVID-19, you can go to World Health Organization website. They have very good information for you, and these are facts on what, you know, is going on concerning the COVID-19, how does it really affect you, and things like that. You can also go to the Nigerian Center for Disease Control if you need more information. But apart from that, I will suggest that you really limit what you're listening to on social media when it comes to what is happening in COVID-19. It is also comforting because you're not the only one that have it. You know, having to go through fear or having to go through this situation that we find ourselves in. So many people also are going through this. So it's a bit comforting for us. You know, it's a bit relaxing to know that, okay, the whole world is going through the problem. But there will come a time where we have to face it, when it hits home, when we now start seeing how the stay at home affects businesses, because we are all connected. That is when we begin to see the fear that we're talking about. I pray that that will not be, you know, it will not be what a lot of people will go through, but we also have to bring out the facts, and which is what I'm going to do today. I'm going to state the facts. You know, what exactly is the aftermath of a crisis? What should you expect to see? And I will also talk about, okay, exactly what can you do to ensure that even though this is what you expect to see, there's a way that you can ensure that it doesn't affect you, it doesn't affect your family members. Now, we do want to remember that when we're talking about fear, people are not just fearful on whether they will catch the disease, but the economy aspect of it. You know, the economy uncertainty, the job securities, we don't know what's going on. Business on the, you know, we don't know what's going on with the businesses. We don't know what's going on with our nation. We don't, you know, there's so many things. So people are scared because they don't know what is going on. And nobody is talking to us about what is actually important. We don't know, is this going to affect the crime rate? Is there going to be violence when people can't get a job, when people don't have any money to eat? How is it going to affect us? That is actually the bottom line of what I'm going to discuss. How does it affect us to the grassroots? How does it affect? How does recession affect us? You know, how do depression affect us? You know, when we're talking about crisis, you know, what does crisis really mean? It means an event or circumstances outside of your control, which you cannot influence the outcome. That is what we're talking about when we're talking about crisis. This thing is just totally out of our control. We cannot influence it, but there's certain things that is in our control. So those are the things that we are going to focus on, you know, because this whole country, this whole world is linked together. We all know that you know, so it's like a global link. So what affects one business is going to affect another business, either directly or indirectly. For example, for the last 3 months since the outbreak of the virus, the oil prices are falling. We are all aware that the oil prices are falling, and then you look at what that means to your country, look at what it means to other countries, how it affects us financially. Foreign direct inflow that usually will come to your country has drastically declined. So that means that foreign funds that was coming into the country, foreign investors that are coming in, everything is on hold. And these are the things that the economy drives on. This is what it thrives on. This is what moves the economy, and these things are all on hold. Even the stock market has crashed. The stock market is affected even by what is going on already. All of these things has a negative effect on our economy and our government's ability to fund the current budget. So this is not just COVID-19, coronavirus, but it also affects our life. It affects everything that we stand for. So we need to be prepared to make sure that we know exactly what is going on. So now I'm going to go now into the aftermath of COVID-19. I'm going to talk about it when it comes to the country, when it comes to federal government, when it comes to businesses. What exactly does it mean? I mentioned earlier that it means for the country that there is going to be a recession. We are already seeing a recession, and it will not, if it's not well managed, it's going to affect even if it's not well managed, it's going to turn into depression, which is what I've mentioned earlier. And what is depression? Depression is just basically more severe than recession. So we need to ensure, and then when a nation has depression, that means that the people have lost hope. And when people lose hope, anxiety is there, suicidal is there, domestic violence is there, there's a rise in crime. So we need to ensure that we understand this aftermath. And for the federal government not being able to, to fund project for 2020, that would be a problem. And because right now the dollar to naira is also going up, so there's depreciation. So there's so many things that this COVID-19 is going. So many things that COVID-19 means to our nation. It's not just a virus, but it's also a crisis when it comes to the bottom line, when it comes to our finances, when it comes to our family, when it comes to our businesses. Some businesses will also close down. We're already hearing the airlines that they are asking for bailout. The airlines are already asking for bailout. So many businesses are going to need bailout. So many businesses will shut down. So many businesses will not be able to function again. We are talking about the schools. The children have been home for a couple of days now. How does this affect the school? Very soon we have to pay school fees. If a family member loses their job, it's going to affect the family. It's going to affect our finances. So even the aftermath affects our finances, our families. Paying of bills that we would normally pay. House rent. It will affect those that have car loans. Home mortgages. People will not be able to pay. And if you're a landlord, your tenants will not be able to pay. It affects everything that we stand for, everything that we hold on to, everything that moves and shakes us. The staff that was laid off may start to have crisis in a crisis because the impact on family due to the loss of the income and the inability to meet obligation, especially for those who has no contingency plan. So those that don't have their finances organized, they don't have any savings. Oh wow, this is going to be horrible for those families. And for individuals, when there's no money rolling in the house, there's violence. People are frustrated, people are arguing, people are fighting. It affects marriages, it affects the children, it affects everybody. There's substance abuse, the increase in fidelity. And then even as a nation, you find out that even affects, it can bring in prostitution, areas where, areas of, armed robberies and violence. It causes so many issues. Illegal businesses, smuggling, corruption. Oh, wow. So there's so many things that we need to make sure that we are mindful of in this season that can happen because of the current crisis, and we need to be prepared for it. Now, how do we respond? There are different ways that you can decide to respond to such, issue that is happening. Now, I told you that myself and my family, we also had the same issue. We were going through financial crisis for a while, but it was our response that made us to thrive. And that is what I wanted to share with us, because no one has control over what is happening right now. What you have control over is what you're feeding your mind, what you're thinking about. You have control over your time. You have control over your perception of what is happening right now. You don't have control over whether the virus will get to you, whether they have a vaccine for the virus. You don't have control, but you have control over yourself. So focus on what you have control over. Some people are already responding to this crisis through fear. They're responding to the crisis through being, through panicking, behaving like a victim. So it is up to you. How do you plan to respond? How do you plan to respond at this time? Because even worry is something that can affect you emotionally, mentally, spiritually. When you worry, it affects your mental health. So if that is our way of responding to what is happening, it's going to crush us. It's going to damage us. So how you respond in this time of crisis, or crisis in a crisis, really, really matters. So what we want to make sure is that we are feeding our mind with things that will help us to grow, that will help us to look through the crisis and begin to see the opportunities that are available for us. Some families even engage, in activities that they shouldn't be doing. This is not the time for Netflix. This is not the time to be, over talking on the phone and playing with, and doing things that you shouldn't be. This is time to sit back, think about your life, think about what is happening, and think about how you can make best use of this time. This type of pandemic, you have to make sure that you not focus on the negative, but you focus on the positive. Now, in responding, instead of responding with fear and I'm panicking and behaving like a victim, respond by making best use of the opportunity. Now, what are those opportunities? Now, the Chinese and the Japanese, they don't have a word for crisis. They don't have a word for it. They see crisis as an opportunity. And that is what I want us to take out of this webinar, is that we should see crisis as an opportunity. So every time we have an issue, okay, look at the Chinese right now. They have made over 1 billion face masks already, and they're distributing all over the world. Yes, they also had the same crisis, but they saw the crisis as an opportunity, and they are making best use of it right now. And this is the type of mindset I want us to carry out of this webinar, is that yes, there is a crisis at hand, but I'm going to focus on the opportunity. This is an opportunity to work on your marriage. If your marriage is not working, your man is finally sitting at home, this is opportunity to work on that marriage, not looking back at the issues that you have. This is opportunity to resolve any relationship gap that is there. This is opportunity, to get a counselor that can help you. Instead of fighting, your spouse, the spouse that is finally home. This is opportunity to work on it, opportunity to amend broken relationship. Make best use of the moment that you have. Reconcile if you need to reconcile. So turn it from corona fight into corona babies. So also, create a self-development plan for yourself. This is time for you to begin to work on yourself, improve yourself. This is time for you to even create a plan for the children. Let them have a development plan that will help them to grow, to be better. They don't need to just wait on school books alone. My children are ensured that not only do they do their homework, but they have other additional plans that will help them to grow and to develop them, and, even with soft skills, teaching our children, things on soft skills and things like that. So how do you, and then closing the gap, because a lot of these teenagers, they have a mind of their own. So this is opportunity to ask the right questions, to ask the hard questions, and to amend any broken relationship, to work with your teenager children to understand them better, and of course for them to also understand, your frame of reference. Then also there are so many courses online, so many free courses online that you can make use of. Even the Ivy League schools are offering, like Harvard a couple of days ago was offering programs that you can do for free. So these are opportunities for you to take classes online, for you to develop yourself, time to work on your health, to rest more, time to exercise, eat well, improve yourself, improve your relationship with your God, your one-on-one relationship. This is an opportunity that you should not miss. This time you have an opportunity to do great things with your time. Make best use of this time. Use this opportunity to love. Use this opportunity to pray. Use this opportunity to do good to other people. Use this opportunity to get to know yourself better. When you say that you want to grow, you want to develop, you must be intentional. You cannot grow without it being intentional. You have to do something about it. This is the season you can choose to work on your businesses so that you can be more creative. If you are a career person, this is the time that you can, improve your skills. Gain skills that at the end of the day, after the recession, is skills that can promote you, that can take you to the next level in your organization. I was reading a book about Bill Gates mentioned that he takes 3 months out of a year just to go and reflect, just to go and think. And right now we have this compulsory time to go and think. And I believe that we should make good use of it. Take this time out to go and think, to go and reflect. What do you want to do? How do you want to improve yourself? Because the biggest asset you have is you. You are the biggest asset. So you can imagine when you have an asset, you invest into it. You should invest into yourself. Invest into your growth. Invest into growing. Invest into making yourself better. And this is a time to review even those goals that you set for 2020. What are those goals? What are the things that you need to do to actually achieve those goals? So this is the time to really look into it. This is the time, to look at your life. What areas of your life is not balanced? Is it your health? Is it your finances? What areas? Is it your relationship? Is it your self-esteem? This is the time to work on those things. Anything that is not balanced. I mentioned when we started about the eagle. The eagle flies through the storm and take advantage of the storm. And that is exactly what we need to do. Look at what has happened, this current crisis, as the storm. Let's take advantage of it so that we can fly through the storm. Take advantage of it. Increase your skills. Tap into your strength. If you don't know your strength, this is the time, to find out, okay, what am I good at? What are my gifts? Then how can I enhance the gift that I have so that it can become my strength? This is the time to pay yourself attention because nobody else would. And you find out that, this opportunity only comes in a lifetime. I was reading a book, I'm sure we are all familiar with, Malcolm Gladwell. It's called The Outliers. And basically what he says is, if you want to be great, if you want to be a master in anything, you must have put in close to 10,000 hours to do that thing. So if you say that this is what I want to do, you need to put time into it. So that you can become a grandmaster, so that you can become the best in whatever that you want to do. Opportunity to look inward. This is the time. Look inward. Discover yourself. Find out who you are. Find out what you love to do. For those that don't know, then say, I find out one thing in life. There's always different ways you can do a whole thing. So when you see something that say, oh, is innovation, it's just the same thing we've always done, but they've just packaged it in a new way. You can also repackage some things. You can always look at something, that everybody has been looking at one way. Look at it a different way. Package it. That is something. That is innovation. So there's so many things you can do, and you need to step and start doing something in this time that we are shut in. Because very soon when the doors are back and everybody goes back to the hustles and bustles of life, you don't want to look back and say that you didn't make very good time, you didn't make, the best use of this time that you have, this opportunity that you have. Now, in conclusion, I want to let us know that, look, since we cannot control what is going on, we can actually control what we do with our time, how we spend our time. We have to manage the information that we are receiving. There's so much information. Try to shut those information down and get busy with other things that are really, truly important. This is the opportunity to live a life without regret. So do whatever you need to do to ensure that you do that. This is how you can be a person of peace. See, when you use your time wisely, you are happy with yourself. And when we're talking about mental health, once you are happy with yourself, you can't have any issues with your mental health. You will feel fulfilled. Why? Because you made best use of the time that you have. You made best use of the situation, and you are fulfilled. So when you work on those areas of your life that is not balanced, and you set goals to try to get them achieved, oh wow, you will be satisfied. You will be fulfilled. And that is exactly what you should try to do in this season. To try to make sure that you focus on those areas that needs improvement in your life and start working on it. Now, if anyone is going through any crisis that is overwhelming, I am a counselor. Give us a call. We can help you. We are here for you. So if you need a counselor, if you need a coach to help you to get to your next level, that is what we do here. We can help you do that. And I also want to say that if your faith is working for you, excellent. Don't be shy. Share it with other people. Share your faith with other people. Let them know what is working. Only God is consistent. Our president, this country, everybody's confused. But our God is consistent. So share your faith with the world. Let them know what is working for you, why you are smiling, why you are not looking at the problem, but you are focused on the opportunity. A lot of people are focused on the problem right now. So when they see you, let them know why you are so confident, because you know that your God is there for you. He's going to pull you through in this season. He's there with you. He's not leaving you. He can never forsake you. So that strength is in you, and you're also doing something. You are not just sitting there, but you're also working on those areas. And what tends to happen is, they say that if you continue to prepare, when that time comes means when this crisis is over, there are always going to be opportunities. Because you've used this time to prepare, you have prepared yourself for those opportunities. And you'll be one of the people that will enjoy what is on the other side of this crisis. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to your subscription. Please press the link below to subscribe to us. And if you need a counselor, a coach, please give us a call. We are always ready to help you. Thank you.